Dear child, this may not be the message you expected, but it is the one your heart has been quietly asking for. Something inside you has been searching for truth, not comfort, for understanding, not illusion. And you did not arrive here by chance. This is a spiritual reflection, not a prediction. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If your chest feels heavy or your eyes feel warm, it's because this message is touching a place you have been carrying silently for a long time. This is about the things that were never said, the love that was real but unspoken, the connection that was felt deeply but handled poorly, the silence that hurt more than honesty ever could. You were left wondering, replaying moments, questioning your worth, asking yourself if you imagine the depth, if you misread the signs, if you were too much or not enough. And the truth is, you were neither. You were real, and real love asks for real courage. They wanted to speak sooner. They wanted to explain, to reach out, to tell you how much they were falling. But fear stood in the way. Fear that you would see how deeply they cared. Fear that you would realize they were not ready, not healed, not strong enough to hold something so pure. So instead of speaking, they withdrew. Instead of choosing honesty, they chose silence. Not because love was absent, but because it was overwhelming. They hid their feelings behind distance. They disguised longing as indifference. They tried to convince themselves they could control what they felt, but their heart refused to cooperate. In the quiet moments, when no one was watching, the truth came out. In tears, they never explained. In prayers, they whispered but never finished. In dreams where you appeared without warning, they missed you more than they ever admitted, and they knew it. They watched you walk away, and they didn't stop you, not because they didn't care, but because they were afraid they would ruin something sacred if they reached for you with unhealed hands. They felt unworthy of the love you offered. They believed you were sent from heaven, but they didn't believe they were ready for heaven yet. So they stayed still while their heart collapsed inside, and you felt that tension, that strange pull of love mixed with fear, closeness mixed with distance. Your presence did something to them. You made them feel seen in a way that reached past surface attraction and straight into the places they were avoiding. You reflected their unfinished healing. You awakened prayers they buried. You touched wounds they pretended no longer existed. And because you were honest, open, and emotionally available, it scared them. Love that is real asks for maturity, commitment, and growth, and they were still holding broken pieces they didn't know how to put together. They tried to move on. They tried to distract themselves with people, routines, noise, and time, but nothing erased you. Distance didn't quiet the connection, it amplified it. Silence didn't heal them, it echoed your name. Time didn't make it easier, it made it clearer. They returned to you in their dreams, in sudden memories, in moments when they felt empty and couldn't explain why. They whispered your name in prayers they hoped no one heard. They carried you in the quiet. They weren't rejecting you. They were rejecting what they thought they didn't deserve. They saw your light and thought it would expose their shadows. They feared that being with you would reveal everything they were still trying to hide. But your light was never meant to shame them. It was meant to heal them. And now, slowly, they are beginning to see that. They replay the way you looked at them, the way you loved gently without demanding perfection, the way you stayed when they were confusing, the way you offered safety instead of pressure. That safety frightened them because they weren't used to being loved without conditions. They wanted more than a moment with you. They wanted forever, but they didn't know how to build something holy while still carrying so much pain. So they chose withdrawal instead of vulnerability, and you were left holding the silence. This message is not here to pull you backward. It is here to release you from confusion. It is here to stop the endless guessing, the checking, the self-doubt, the quiet ache of wondering if you were ever truly loved. You were chosen, even if they didn't have the courage to say it clearly. You were valued, even if their actions were inconsistent. The issue was never your worth. The issue was their fear. Love without courage becomes silence, and silence can feel like rejection, even when it is rooted in fear. But you are not meant to live inside someone else's fear. You are not meant to carry their healing or wait for them to become ready at the cost of your own peace. Now is the moment to return to yourself, to stop chasing what cannot meet you fully, to honor what was real without romanticizing what was painful, to release the unspoken, the confusion, the habit of questioning your value. You did nothing wrong by loving honestly. You did nothing wrong by being ready. If your heart feels heavy right now, let it. If tears come, let them. Clarity can hurt at first, but it heals deeper than denial ever could. This truth is not meant to reopen wounds, but to finally clean them. You deserve more than emotion. You deserve devotion. You deserve someone who does not disappear when it gets real, someone who stays, someone whose actions match their feelings. And if anyone ever returns to your life, it should be with maturity, accountability, and consistent effort, not just words. You are too sacred to be mishandled again. So let this be your release. Release the silence. Release the confusion. Release the belief that you were forgotten or disposable. Sometimes silence is not a lack of love, but a lack of courage, and that does not define your worth. You are free now, free to forgive without returning, free to heal without waiting, free to hope again without losing yourself. What is meant for you will come with clarity, peace, and courage. It will not require you to beg, chase, or shrink. Your next chapter will not be built on guessing. It will be built on truth, on healing, on love that shows up fully, without fear, without hiding. Beloved soul, you were never forgotten, not by God, not by life. And what matters most now is that you remember yourself. The story is not over, but the silence no longer controls you. You are ready for what comes next. They prayed about you quietly, over and over, even when no one else knew. In moments when they looked fine on the outside, they were whispering your name to God on the inside. They never truly stopped loving you. What stopped was their ability to love you well. They didn't know how to show up with steadiness. They didn't know how to protect something sacred without letting fear interfere. They didn't know how to hold something pure without panicking about responsibility, timing, or their own unhealed places. So they pulled back, they hesitated, they went silent, and silence did damage. But love did not die. It stayed alive underneath the confusion. It stayed alive under pride, under avoidance, under distance, under the things they told themselves to survive the separation. Even when they tried to move on, even when they tried to distract themselves, even when they told themselves it was over, something inside them refused to let you go. Because what they felt with you was not ordinary. It touched their soul, and souls do not forget what recognized them. Now something is changing, not because they suddenly woke up one day brave, but because God has been working on them in the quiet. God has been correcting them where no one else could see. God has been showing them the cost of delay, the weight of disobedience, and the truth that love is not just something you feel, it is something you choose with action. God has been teaching them that avoiding responsibility does not protect the heart, it wounds it, and slowly, painfully, clearly, they have begun to understand. Their next move will not come through a screen. It will not be a message typed at night and erased in fear. It will not be a casual check-in that hides the truth behind politeness. It will not be something vague or safe. It will not be silence disguised as respecting space, because they have learned that some things cannot be healed through distance. Some things require presence. Some apologies must be spoken face to face. Some love must be proven by showing up, even when the knees shake and the heart races. When they stand in front of you, you will see the difference. You will feel it before they even speak. You will see it in the way their hands tremble, in the way they pause to steady their breath, in the way their eyes fill because they are finally allowing themselves to feel everything they buried. You will see a person who knows what they almost lost, and then they will speak, not with confidence, but with honesty. They will tell you they went to God. They will tell you they stopped running from the truth. They will tell you they finally listened instead of resisting. And they will say that when they prayed, they did not hear comfort for their excuses. They heard correction for their fear. They heard clarity. They heard conviction. They heard the truth that you were never a mistake, never a detour, never an option. You were the one they were meant to choose fully, not halfway. They will say, I know I don't deserve another chance. I know I hurt you by being silent. I know I left you carrying questions you never should have had to carry. But I'm here now because I don't want to keep living with regret. I don't want to keep pretending I'm fine when I know I walked away from something holy. They will look at you and admit the part they once avoided. They will tell you they were scared of being seen, scared of committing, scared of not measuring up, scared of responsibility, scared of the depth of what you offered. They will tell you they mistook fear for wisdom and delay for timing. And then they will say the words that matter most. You were never the problem. I was. That sentence alone carries weight because it is not blame shifting. It is not romantic drama. It is ownership, and ownership changes the atmosphere. They will tell you they never stopped praying for you, even when they acted distant. They will tell you that your face came to mind at night, that your presence never truly left them, that no one else touched their soul the way you did. They will tell you they lost you because they didn't know how to hold something so rare without sabotaging it. And then, without rushing, without pressure, without performance, they will ask for forgiveness, not as a demand, not as an expectation, but as a request made with humility. They will say they are not coming back with empty words or emotional promises. They are coming back with intention, with awareness, with a willingness to do the work. They are coming back because fear no longer gets to decide for them. They are coming back because obedience matters more than comfort now. And then the moment arrives that shifts everything. They take a deep breath, knowing this is the point of no return, knowing this question carries weight, knowing it changes the story, whether the answer is yes or no. And they ask you to marry them, not as fantasy, not as escape, not as emotional impulse, but as a declaration that they are done delaying what they know is real, as a choice to step into responsibility, as a decision to build instead of run. This is not imagination. This is faith moving through action. This is courage replacing fear. This is love choosing maturity. And the evidence that it is real does not stop with the proposal, because this time they do not hide you. They no longer protect other people's opinions at the cost of your dignity. They no longer keep you private to feel safe. They no longer shrink their truth to avoid confrontation. They speak clearly, publicly, and without shame. They return to the people who doubted you, who questioned your value, who told them to walk away, who treated your love lightly, and they say the truth plainly. They say you were not the problem. They say you were the blessing they were too blind to recognize. They say they are done pretending and done hiding. They say they love you and they are choosing you. That public acknowledgement does something powerful. It clears your name. It restores your honor. It changes the narrative that once worked against you. What was whispered before is now spoken openly. What was doubted before is now defended. God has a way of doing that, of honoring you in places where you were misunderstood, of restoring you in front of the same people who questioned you, of turning silence into vindication without you having to fight for it. And then something unexpected happens. Hearts soften, perspectives shift. People who once judged realize they didn't see the whole picture. They didn't understand the depth, the patience, the faith you carried. And some of them admit it. Some of them apologize. Some of them welcome you with sincerity where there was once resistance. You find yourself embraced where you were once dismissed, honored where you were once doubted, loved openly instead of quietly. And in that, something inside you heals. As the wedding comes together, it does not feel rushed or chaotic. It feels intentional. It feels guided. It feels like something that waited until both hearts were ready to carry it well. They don't want anything fake. They don't want a performance. They want something that feels real, something that feels redeemed, something that feels like home. Every choice reflects growth. Every detail carries meaning. Nothing feels careless anymore.